even if you're an expert in your field, right, and what it is that we do, a lot of times high performers especially know that they don't know everything, right? So they're always searching, they're always searching, and it gives you a little self-consciousness back there, that says you don't know everything, right? But in actuality, you know a lot more than 95% about that subject, right? And so I think there's something along those lines that people will overcomplicate it because maybe there's a fear that there's more to it.
Or that's so simple, that can't be true.
That's
like skepticism.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the Profit Answer Man, Rocky Lalvani. If you're new to the podcast, check out my interview with Mike Michalowicz. It's episode number 2. If you want to hear about each chapter in the Profit First book, go back and listen to episodes 3 through 13. Episode 1 is the why and how. On the Profit Answer Man, we learn money mastery without all the complicated accounting mumbo-jumbo using a simple system. Your accountant is busy documenting your transactions and creating a rearview mirror of what happened. My guess is you don't even look at the reports they sent you. If you're like most business owners, you struggle with this, and it's not your fault. We aren't taught money in school, and accountants aren't taught how to be profitable. The Profit First system created by Mike Michalowicz works, and he certified me to help you implement the system in your business. Remember, the new equation is sales minus profit equals expenses. Let's face it, without cash flow, you can't pay your employees, buy needed materials, or pay your mortgage and support your family. I help you to do that and more, so you can focus on the parts of the business you love and receive the rewards for your labor and investment into your business. The stronger you are as a business owner, the more jobs you create, the better we are as a country. Small business owners are the backbone of America, and for that, you deserve to be well rewarded. Just remember, more revenue does not equal more profit. That's why we focus on the bottom line. Today, we're going to share a new software, Profit Pro, that is going to help you implement Profit First and have a better understanding of your numbers. If you want to do this yourself, it's a great option, or you can add our coaching on top of it when the time is right. Jason Petro is another Profit First professional just like me, and his partner Chris White is a serial entrepreneur. They know firsthand from their experiences what you're going through with your finances. And they, like me, want to help you. And that's our topic today, making your numbers easier to understand. Let's meet them and learn how you can do it. Welcome to the Profit Answer Man, Jason Petro and Chris White. It's great to have you both join us today.
Thank you,
Hey,
Rocky.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, can you guys really quick share a little bit about yourselves and your business?
Absolutely. Chris, you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Oh, okay. So my name is Jason Petro, and my background is in engineering, actually. So I've owned a company called Up-Rev for about 12 years now, and have certainly gone through the ups and the downs of entrepreneur ownership, small business ownership. And, I've had the opportunity to be part of a CEO peer group. And I got exposed to EOS and Profit First and some of these other great assets and books to help sustain the business. And I've had some great success with the engineering company and applying some of these things that I was able to exit the day-to-day operations of that business and have it sustain on its own and get the opportunity to do what we're doing today.
I love it when business owners don't have to work hard. When the business runs itself, that's a thumbs up for me.
It's the coup de grace, right? You know what I mean? If you've done all that work, yes, and have the right people, for sure.
That's definitely what it is. What about you, Chris?
Chris White, Orlando, Florida, serial entrepreneur. And for the past 15 years, I've been a business coach. I was one of the original expert EOS implementers back in the day. My background in my businesses has primarily been SaaS. And so I created software for EOS called 90.io, System and Soul. And Jason and his partner, Richard, were clients of mine when I was an EOS coach. And so about a year ago, they called me and they said, hey, we have an idea we want to run by you. It's similar to something you're familiar with. And that's how we got reconnected after they graduated. And I am just super proud. It's like coming full circle, watching one of my clients become very successful. And, they went through a rough patch, and this miraculously, another book showed up in their peer group that changed their lives, just like the book Traction. So when they shared their story with me, I was instantly just like mesmerized. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So today I am the Chief Revenue Officer for Profit Pro, and I am the founder of the Micro Business Academy.
You notice the two books behind me, and they aren't there accidentally. They're always there.
They belong together, quite frankly.
They belong, because here's the way I do it. I talk to EOS implementers all the time. I'm like, you guys love dashboards, don't you? And they're like, yeah. I go, I love Traction. By the way, do you always notice how the one dashboard that's kind of always missing is the financial one? That's the one we do that plugs into your system to complete it.
That's exactly right.
And so I love talking to people who use EOS, who are EOS where if you're in EOS and Traction, I know you know how to run a business, that you love systems, and our systems of not just profit first, but everything else we do just kind of rolls into that, and it works wonderfully together. So, Jason, you were introduced to Profit First, right? What happened?
I was, as I mentioned earlier, I was part of a CEO peer group. And as I was going down the journey of my engineering company, I ran into some roadblocks, particularly around the cash flow area, as you would imagine. And we had implemented the EOS system with Chris, and we had great processes and things. But just like you said, Rocky, I mean, it does not address that financial component, which is the foundation, really, of all small businesses. So, yeah, I brought it up in my peer group. I said, guys, I am so sick of some years were profitable, some years were not. I owed money to Uncle Sam for, having a real profitable year, but I didn't have the cash that was there to do it. And I just said, this is crazy, and my background's in engineering, right? I know how to make technology and, but I never had any, other than the EOS formal business training, right? I never had any finance background. So I brought it up. And this guy, a friend of mine, Dave, said, Jason, you got to read this book. And he showed Profit First. And I read that book. I read it over the weekend. And it was life-changing. Like, it was just what Mike Michalowicz was able to do with that is just simplify the whole process, right? And it just resonated to me. So we started implementing it right away. And at the time, when I was bringing it up to my CEO group, we were in dire straits. I didn't know how we were going to pay the next payroll. We had just moved into a beautiful 15,000 square foot facility. And, things just fell apart. And then COVID hit and all the contracts went away. It was just a terrible, terrible time. So, just thankful to have the peer group, super encourage people to do that, but very thankful that I read that book. It really did turn things around for us.
So what was it that changed after reading the book?
I think it's my engineering brain. It put a process in place to manage cash through the business. That's really what it is, right? It is a dollar comes in, you handle the dollar in this fashion, then you're going to have a stable, financially healthy business. And so that's what resonated with me, the simplicity in the process.
It really demystifies cash flow management.
It does.
It just like the genius of what Gino did, simplifying, a business into 6 key components. I think Mike has similarly, with his genius, simplified cash flow management so that whether you're a startup or someone like yourself and myself with no financial background, I mean, I don't mind, sharing a little vulnerability here. I'm a serial entrepreneur. When I first started, my very first software was point of sale software, and I found myself in the boardroom of Trek Bicycle Company, $500 million US based company, third gen, and I've got software that they want. And I go into this board meeting and there's like 12 executives in there. I'm just me and my partner, a couple of young guns. And within 5 minutes of my presentation, the CFO asked me for my last 3 years EBITDA. Now, I'm a Motorola trained salesman, so I know how to handle a curveball, right? So I said, hey, I'm not prepared to share that information with you today, but if it goes well, we can always come back to it. So I handled it. But you guys, when I walked out of that meeting, my knees were rubber. My stomach was sick. I didn't know EBITDA, EBITDA. I didn't know what the hell it was. I got in my car, honest to God. I got in my car. I called my CPA and I said, I need a crash course in accounting 101, finance 101. I want to know the top 10 KPIs because I don't know Dookie. This guy asked me this question and I felt like a fool. And so that's when I realized, hey, wait a minute. I don't have to be afraid of numbers. We have to demystify everything around it and simplify it. And that's what I started with, the glossary of terms, 10. And to this day, you guys, I've taught over 200 businesses. I've worked with over 1,000 executives. I still teach that basic. Like, don't be afraid. If you don't know, it's okay. Like, there's so many acronyms out there and all that. Because like Jason mentioned earlier, we're talking about one of the foundational elements, right, of the business, finance. And if I don't know that, how am I going to be successful? So I don't mind sharing that story. So you got listeners out there that hey, I've been in your shoes, and you don't have to be afraid. We can help now demystify all that.
EBITDA is like your P&L. They might say you're profitable and you have money, but then you end up like Jason and there's no cash in the bank.
That's right.
And my good buddy Warren Buffett, we're not really buddies, but
he loves EBITDA.
he's got a lot of negative things to say about EBITDA. He thinks it's all BS, and because it's made up numbers. And that's what I love about Profit First, right? You don't have to look at your accounting software. You don't have to run a report. I got cash. I don't have cash. Where's my cash? And it's an early warning signal to go, hey, you're running out of cash. Now you're going to start spending your profit and your take-home pay and, what the IRS is coming for, and you're in big trouble. But it also gives you the reserve so that you go, oh, wait a minute. I'm digging into my reserve. There's a problem. I need to go figure out why. And it does all of that for you. And it does it so simply. I mean, that is the biggest thing. You don't have to get a finance degree. You don't even have to know how, Mike says you don't have to know how to read finance reports. He's right. What we layer on top of it is we can tell you that your profit account's going to go negative soon because we can predict it. But that's a level above. And it's a level that I think we're about to talk about with both of you, because you've built a software based on Profit First that kind of helps the do-it-yourselfer. What was the problem that you saw that drove you to build this software?
That's a great question. So after my experience with the Profit First myself and implementing it in my business and seeing the impact that it had, I, like you, but like the both of you, coaching others, like having that fulfillment and teaching others, I said, hey, I got to go help other people. I know there's a million other Jasons out there that are good at what they do, and they don't have this system. They're no knowledge about it. So I went through the Profit First Professional. So I got certified and gone through that process, and I started helping people. I started coaching people, and and had some really quick success, but I saw there was a little bit of hole there, in terms of people that read the book. Sometimes they get stuck. They don't know what that next step is. Maybe, they don't have a coach yet, or maybe they can't afford a coach, right? Maybe they don't have that money to do that. So my background being in technology and in engineering, I said, hey, we can develop a software, right, that could increase the capacity to help so many more people than I could, or our business partners could as just coaches individually. So that's what we decided to do. Hey, how can we take the Profit First book, implement the next step for people to use in the software, make it easy for them to use, let them know what is the next step, how to go about doing that. And people could do the DIYs. They could do self-implementation. And those are the people that we're trying to serve. Them and the coaches that are teaching Profit First is really what we're trying to serve.
So the number one thing I've learned from Mike directly is when he comes off stage, people are like, I love Profit First. He's like, did you open the bank accounts? They're like, yes. I didn't get to that yet, right? They don't take action. Now with Relay, we've had Relay on before. There's links to Relay in the show notes. They've automated it for you. So there's no excuse not to open up the bank accounts and get going. But what I find is even if you open up the bank accounts and you get going, people are then like, well, why is there no money in my OpEx? Why am I, why do I have to pull money out of my profit account? And then they go, well, this isn't working. There's something wrong with the system. No, you're spending too much damn money. That's the problem. But they need to know where and how. And I think that's really what you bring to the table is you're bringing awareness to the numbers in a way that they can understand, that's easy for people to get. Can you share a little bit more about that and kind of some of the things they might see with this?
Yeah. So I think, what we're doing is taking and making it simple, just like you were saying. And I agree with you, Rocky, and coaching the people that we've done. Opening the bank accounts is the number one hurdle. The next number one hurdle is getting them to start. Okay, I've opened the accounts, and let's let go of that fear of letting the money go into one income account, and we're going to do those allocations. And yes, you're going to have to change maybe where your payroll comes from or your bills come out of, but that is a huge. Those are the two biggest hurdles. And I think what our software helps is to clearly state what the next step is in very clear, concise, for them to follow process. But it gets the momentum going, right? It gets that muscle memory, right? That's going. And we have taken some of the tools from, we've added not just what's in Profit First, we've added a few other of our own tools from things like Traction, right? There's a vision tool in there that says, hey, let's look in the next year, what can we expect? Let's look at our KPIs, which are usually bank accounts and what they look like over time. So, adding the central Profit First tools, and then adding a few more tools that we've done in there just increases the visibility and makes things a little bit easier for them to see.
And I think that's the key is having the tools, making it easier. And at the other end, it's also making it affordable for a smaller business owner. And I know that because I see the people who show up on my calendar. And if they're a smaller size business owner, the reality is, and I'll tell them up front, look, I can't make enough of a difference in your business that it's worth it for you to work one-on-one with me. We've got a course. Again, they still have to do it. They get a little bit of help, but maybe some people want to do it a different way. And that's why I'll promote every single way for them to make more money because I understand they just got to find the one that works for them. And that's my goal is making sure that they're profitable, whether it's your system, my system, or the person who was on last week's system. It doesn't matter as long as they go out and they become profitable and they make more money and their business succeeds. That's our goal.
Financial health, right?
Yeah.
Let's let the entrepreneurs sleep at night because they got some stability in their finances. 100%.
So What are some of the biggest issues you've seen with business owners in the past? I'm assuming, Chris, you work with so many of them. What are their biggest struggles?
I think some of the common ones, certainly taking your eye off the ball in finance, where maybe we get just so caught up in the minutia of the business, we're not slowing down long enough, to take a temperature reading. I'm a firm believer in keeping your fingers on the pulse of your cash flow, because without that, then what's left, right? So I think with Profit Pro, our software, we are the digital representation of the closest digital representation to the book, right? And the tools in the book. And the whole idea is to make it easier, to your point, right? Make it so easy, right, that they can get in there and get started. Now, we have white glove service too. You can call us and we'll help you get started as well. But that's not the point. The point is to make it so simple that you literally can do it yourself. And that's, we're servicing those small business owners. And they're, especially in the smaller businesses, right? The owner is wearing multiple hats. And for them to try to keep all the balls juggling, I don't know why they let the finance ball every time. No, catch that one. Let the other, but don't drop that finance ball. But you know what? It's part of it. And when you get into the smaller businesses, we're talking about people who are passionate about a certain expertise they have, and they want to go share that with the world. Guys like me who no formal financial education in business whatsoever. I just dove in because I enjoyed what I did and I wanted to get out there and do more of it. And I think with small business owners, they've got to find tools. And this kind of goes to your bigger picture, Rocky, of a self-managed business where, hey, you actually can take 2 weeks off and don't worry, because you got Profit Pro right here in your phone. You can, if you want to look at your dailies or whatever, you can. But that's not the point either. The point either is to go on vacation and have the confidence that your business is going to be there when you get back because you put in systems like attraction and a profit.
And I think that's important. We're big fans of creating systems, processes. Yeah, at the end of the day, your business is a system and it's a math equation. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't figure out the math equation of their business. They don't implement the systems. Everything's in the owner's head. And then they wonder why everyone's asking them a million questions and no one can do anything because they're the bottleneck. They don't get it out of their head and onto paper and then into a process for people to follow. And the reason I love Traction is because the meetings are short. They're thumbs up, thumbs down, right? Hey, you don't need to spend hours running your business. You've got your handful of metrics, and then you look at them and you go, hey, was it thumbs up this week or was it thumbs down? Did everyone hit the metrics that they're supposed to hit? And the key is when you've got leading indicators, then you can fix things before the profit account goes negative, right? Because
That's right.
The tsunami's coming, right?
That's right.
Let's do something before it hits. It's just that awareness of this is what's coming down the road, and you can see it. And it always shocks me that people can't.
When you have Profit First has foundational tools, about 8 foundational tools, right? EOS has 5 foundational tools. And to your point, it's less is more. We have a tendency to overcomplicate things, make more than it needs to be. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, we need to manage our cash flow so that the profit isn't just an outcome or a surprise. Oh, hey, we did it. No, it's a habit. And you're going to see it, whatever cadence you want to look at it, right? And that's where I think the small business owner, by using tools like this, it's going to educate them. It's going to give them confidence. But ultimately, to your point, we're here to help them to consistently be profitable. And so our job is to bring them the tools that are simple and easy to use and help them achieve their vision.
So let me ask you a question. Why is it that people won't do simple and easy and they want a complicated solution? Like, why, what causes that?
Engineers? No, I'm just kidding. No, listen, as human beings, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this, but as human beings, I think in the entrepreneurial space that we live in, we tend to be fixers. Or, oh, wait, I could optimize that, or I could make that better. And that's a trap. That can be a trap, right? But I think that's human nature. What do you guys think?
Jason, you have an idea? I'm still searching.
There's probably some psychological thing there too, that maybe in the back of the head, if something's too simple, we believe that there's more to it. And maybe we sometimes go to search for that. There's another great book. It's called Overcoming the Imposter. I don't know if you've ever heard that book, but it kind of deals with that psychology a little bit. You know what I mean? So even if you're an expert in your field, right, and what it is that we do, a lot of times high performers especially know that they don't know everything, right? So they're always searching, and it gives you a little self-consciousness back there, that says you don't know everything, right? But in actuality, you know a lot more than 95% about that subject, right? And so I think there's something along those lines that people will overcomplicate it because maybe there's a fear that there's more to it.
Or that's so simple, that can't be true. Like skepticism.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I don't know why people just won't do simple. And again, going back to Warren Buffett, Warren's a simple guy. Like, he doesn't go into a lot of this fancy stuff. He looks at very basic things. And he's like, if I can't understand it, I'm not investing in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get out of whack.
Some people like to chase squirrels. And that's where, like, if you have a visionary in your visionary founder in your organization, and if they're one of those squirrel chasers, if you read the book Rocket Fuel, right? Another one in the library, and it talks about the integrator and the visionary relationship. And when an integrator has a visionary that chases squirrels, they call that organizational whiplash. Because think about it, that's the head, and everything else is going to be out of sync because of that.
I have always been, I'm an integrator, right? I never realized how few integrators are, because Gino says, and I think he says it in Rocket Fuel, if you look at the general population, about 4% of people are the visionaries that are out there, out of the general population. And he goes, 1% are integrators, which means for every four visionaries, you've got one integrator, which is probably why so many visionaries struggle. Because I think the true job of the integrator is to anchor the visionary. Like, hey, that's all wonderful, but we're going to focus on this and we're going to go implement that. You go off and do whatever.
It's the worst position in a company because you are the unsung hero. And you want to know why it's one of the worst positions? Because you're constantly saying no, either up or down in the org chart. But that's what a great integrator does, right? Mark Winters in the book Rockfield, he talks about they have to be two puzzle pieces that snap together. But we have this 4-to-1, a lot of visionaries out there looking for their complementary puzzle piece still.
And I think a lot of visionaries don't even realize that they need the complementary piece. That was a major aha to me, just like Profit First was a major aha to me. I just like, this is all common sense to me. I didn't realize it wasn't normal, but that's just me.
When I get an extreme visionary, we'll call them, I think Gino called them flaming visionaries, I give them the book Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And because to your point about the integrator being the anchor, the integrator is the COO. They run the show. We all know that the owner can play the owner card, but the reality is the buck stops with the integrator. And that can be a lonely position. And it can be a difficult position if you have a difficult visionary, right? But when you find that complementary piece, then it's the integrator's job to go execute that plan and make life easier for everybody below. And that's where books like Traction and Profit First come in, because here's the thing, in my experience, 17, 18 years now of teaching EOS and whatnot, those two books, now you can see what's behind me. It's as bad as your bookshelf, Rocky. I've read a lot of books, but for me, in my companies and the companies that I serve, those two books have made probably the biggest impact. And there's a lot of great books. Lencioni writes great books on team health and all that, but from running a business, those two books are simple but powerful, and they can make an immediate impact. You can start implementing them right away. So that kind of bringing it back, that's what we've done with Profit Pro. So I co-founded 90.io. That's the software for EOS. And so we want to be able to bring Profit First methodology to every entrepreneur in the world. That's our big, hairy, audacious goal. Because we all know, and the three of us know from our own experiences, we need to go help them to be consistently profitable, but we got to do it in a way that's easy and fun to do it. And I believe that's what we've developed.
Before you tell us where to find it, my one other favorite book is The Road Less Stupid.
The Road Less Stupid.
The Road Less Stupid. It's got probably close to 800 questions you should ask yourself about your business and what you're doing. And
awesome.
For those of you who aren't connected with me on LinkedIn, listen, if you connect on LinkedIn, every week I give a question from The Road Less Stupid, just to say, here is something to think about in your business, because it's answering those questions makes you more profitable. Bottom line. And they all kind of go together. So if people would like to learn more about the software, how to do this easily, where do they find you guys?
Profitpro.app is the best place to go. There's a try for free, 30-day trial for free button there. So just profitpro.app is the best place.
And I will put that in the show notes. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Rocky. We appreciate it.
Not wanting to focus on the numbers is normal for most business owners. It's not their zone of genius, and it's not what they love to do. But at the end of the day, someone's got to focus on this if you want to increase your cash flow and your profitability and have a growing business and be rewarded for all your hard work. The cool thing is this software makes it easier. The other thing is we can have access to help you out with the software. So it's up to you. You want to do it alone? Go for it. If you want us to help you, we can do it too. Bottom line is you've got to look at the numbers. You've got to have clarity on what to do and how to improve them. Because at the end of the day, you don't need more resources. You need to be more resourceful, which is what this software does for you. Plus, it helps you focus on the bottom line.
If you'd like for us to be a part of your profitability journey, we have different programs available ranging from do-it-yourself to one-on-one coaching. Our course, The Profit Blueprint, teaches you everything you need to know to transform your profitability. There are 3 different tiers ranging from DIY to done with you so that businesses of all sizes can get the support that's best. Join the waitlist in the show notes to get more information and be a part of the next cohort. If you want a done-for-you service, you can hire us as your Chief Profitability Officers. We only work with a handful of clients, so they all get our full attention. We work with business owners who have or are growing to $500,000 to $10 million in revenue. You can use the scheduling link in the show notes to get on our calendar for a good fit conversation to see if we're the right people to support you and how we can help you.
Remember to check out my other podcast, Richer Soul, where we talk about how to live the ultimate life and be the best business owner you can be. As we close out, let's repeat the mantra. revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. Have an abundant and profitable week.